everybody, and thank you for joining us right here on the Mike Lee Show, sponsored by the iconic Miss Jamie Foster Brown with Sister to Sister 2.0. And today, I've got a legend, another legend with us, guys. He's worked with some incredible artists: Nile Rodgers, Chic, Sting, Bono, Aretha Franklin, the Notorious B.I.G., Queen Latifah, Chris Botti, Erykah Badu, D'Angelo, India Arie, and he was also the resident band for NBC's It's Showtime at the Apollo for 15 seasons. Now he's got something called Soul Snack Cookies, ladies and gentlemen. Cookies, and right now they're in Walmart. That's how serious we're talking right here. Ralph, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine, brother. How are you, brother Mike?
I am doing amazing, man. I'm doing amazing. Tell us first of all, where you from?
I'm from the Bronx, Bronx, New York.
Okay, love it, love it.
Um,
Are you still in the
yeah,
Bronx?
born and raised, still here.
That's beautiful, man. What was coming up in the Bronx like for you at that particular time?
Um,
Were you were
coming up,
you were you into music even as a child?
I was, and that was because of my brother and also my sister. They always, listen to uh, stuff on the radio, and they would buy 45s. I think that back then they cost like 30 cents.
Uh huh.
And my brother had a reel to reel, and he would tape everything and splice it together, make his own playlist back then.
Hmm.
And I loved just following, what the leads that mostly my brother had made for me. So I've been enjoying, just music and like most kids, I was drawn to Motown
Hmm.
and but he played rock and roll, he played gospel, he played jazz, poetry, he played everything, and I think that's why my listening is so eclectic as far as tastes are concerned,
Wow.
which is a great thing.
That's a
Yeah.
great thing. Now you could have, when you're a kid, you're young, there's football, there's soccer, there's track, there's girls, there's all these things that could have you out and about. What was it about music that really made you want to hone in and really, really become serious about it?
um, I think honestly, my love of music was the fact that I just loved it. As a kid, I loved to sing, and
Hmm.
I always would copy Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations when I was a kid, and
Wow.
just loving. Honestly, back to my brother, the stuff that he played and the stuff that he was interested in. He was my role model. There was no father in the house, so he was my role model.
Now, Soul Snack started in 1996. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, yeah.
So, so between 1996 and now, was there a slower process? Did the cookies already come out and we just it's just getting to my front door? Tell us about the ride from
No,
1996 when it started up to
in
now.
1996, I started in my apartment with my girlfriend, and it was a way. The cookies was a way for us to save money for the holidays. So
Uh-huh.
I had already been baking cookies. So the suggestion for me was, we don't really have a whole lot of money,
Hmm.
to serve our friends and family, which was about 36 people. I told her, so why don't we just bake the cookies? And she
Hmm.
thought it was a good idea. So we went downtown to a 99-cent store, somewhere around 34th Street,
Uh-huh.
and we bought these Christmas tins, and we made the cookies and we sent it out to everybody. And everyone got back to us and said, "Wow, these are really, really good. Um, you should think about starting a business." And I had thought about it, but
And
that
these
was
and Ralph, these are homemade, right?
oh, absolutely. The
Uh-huh.
chocolate chip recipes are old family recipes dating
Uh-huh.
back all the way to the beginning of the 1900s from my grandmother.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's basically how it started. That spark was the time. Even though there was a point that I wanted to do it, the fact that people really liked the cookies, I'm like, okay, this is a sign. So I went to one of the open mic nights that I was doing in Harlem at Sylvia's restaurant. And I spoke to Melba, who owns her own restaurant now, Melba Wilson. And
Uh-huh.
I told her, I said, listen, I want to bring cookies in to sell. to see, if people like them. And she said, fine, just bring them in. So we didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So I made up a label and I printed it out on regular paper, cut it out. I put school glue on it and put
Yeah.
that on a brown bag. And then I put the cookies in the sandwich bag in the brown bag and then put a piece of tape on it. And that was the first bags of cookies. So we made about 25 bags plus samples. We brought it down. And the band was a hot band. It was a really great band.
Hmm.
Shelby J that sung with Prince with the ball head.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
seen it. She also sung with D'Angelo. She
Absolutely.
was actually the lead singer and the MC for the open mic. And the saxophone player is a guy that you may know named Mike Phillips.
No, Mike
Mike
Phillips.
Phillips.
Yeah. Of
Yeah,
course.
I actually produced his first demo.
Get out
That's
of
how
here.
he. That's how.
That's
Yeah, that's how he
great.
got his deal.
That's
And
great.
on guitar was a guy named Mike Campbell, who played with Shaka Khan and Prince as well.
Okay. Okay.
And on keys, I believe it was Fred McFarlane. I thought it was Salon. He might have come in, but Fred McFarlane, who produced Somebody Else's Guy and a bunch of other hits, was the keyboard player. And then I was on drums. So we was jamming up in there. So Cookies came, gave out samples. She announced it. People bought the cookies, and it just so happens there was a guy at the bar who had the cookies from a magazine called YSB magazine,
I
which
remember
used
why.
to be on, yeah, it used to be on by BET. And he said, "Wow, this is a really cool story." Uh, so he said,
It
"Can I
was
do an
called
interview?"
Young Sisters and Brothers, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. He said, "Can I do an interview on you?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." So my girlfriend is also from public housing, and
Hmm.
she graduated from Juilliard. So he thought it was a very cool story to have this musician on TV and this girl from Juilliard from the projects that started this company.
Hmm.
So I was so ill prepared, I had nothing to give him as far as a telephone number or
Hmm.
even an email. So I asked my sister, can I give him your pager number, the one with the pin number on it? Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I gave that to him, and I thought we'd get a couple of calls, maybe 4 or 5 calls. I was wrong because the first day we got a couple of calls, then the next day we got 10 more. Then
Uh-huh.
that afternoon we got 20 more because the magazine was going out, and
Uh-huh.
it kept going. So we couldn't continue baking in the oven where we were at home in the apartment. So across the street, my friend's mother owned a brownstone, and the above ground basement was available. So I asked him. I said, "Do me a favor, Patrice. Ask your mother if I could rent the space." And his mother was strict like my mother. He said, "I'm not asking her nothing. You ask
You
her."
ask it, right?
So, so I said, "Mr. Rant, I have a business that's starting, and I'm going to basically need to gut your kitchen and put in a 3 tub sink
Hmm.
and put in a ventilation system and a convection oven. And I need to store stuff in the other room, and I need to have a small office in the back." And she heard my whole story. She went, "Okay, no problem." Gave
Wow.
me gave me a really nice rent, and we stayed there for a couple of years, and it was really, really that was the start of the company. And then I got a call from the New York Times, and I
Wow.
literally hung up on the woman because I thought it was a prank call.
Wow. Wow.
I did. I thought it was a prank, but that's how it all got started. And
Hmm.
from there, we've now moved into our own facility. We're
Hmm.
about to move into a bigger facility. I have a store in Japan. I've sold cookies in Europe. We ship all across the United States our original line of cookies, and the cookies for Walmart is baked out of a place in New Jersey
Hmm.
that can cover that much volume.
Hmm.
It's just a big volume,
Wow.
But this it's been many iterations of the company, and I'm glad for the journey. It's been 26 years, but
That's
it's been a good
amazing.
journey.
That's amazing.
Thank you, brother.
So obviously, if you just gave us a great story of specifically what I asked from '96 up to now about this incredible journey that you've had
Mm,
with this company, with this creation, with this gift, if you will, kind of how it how it developed and how it sort of transformed. What is so special about? There has to be something that is special about these cookies, and I'm not asking for a recipe, but you say it goes back through your family quite some
yeah.
time ago. So was it something of your mom's? grandmoms, the
It's my
lady thing.
grandmother.
Your grandmother, okay.
It's my grandmother. When I was very small, my
Hmm.
cousin Vincent, who was just a year younger than me, um, when my grandmother would cook or bake,
Uh huh.
she, like every kid, you'd wait for that bowl that she had just mixed the
You
batter
probably could
for.
smell it throughout the whole house, front
Yeah, and
porch,
we
everywhere.
would be. She'd give us the bowl, and the bowl would be so clean from us,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. I know
She'd
those
clean it out
days.
the. And that's that's one of those things that I tell people that we all have in our family.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I stress to everyone is that please get your family's recipes.
Yeah,
I'm telling everyone this because once those recipes are gone, they're gone.
they're
And I'm
gone.
not just talking about food recipes. I'm talking about recipes for life. Get get your elders on camera
Yeah.
talking. Just they can talk about anything. You can ask them questions, but
Ralph, we've lost that. I'm thinking before you even started talking and as you were talking, and I want you to pick back up on that. We've lost that. It's about family. It's about the whole thing. When you say the recipe, not just about the cookies, the love in the household, licking grandma's bowl. Are kids still doing it? Are they on their pages? Are they not pages, but on their cell phone and computers? Are we spending time with our elders? But no, you've got a great point because this goes beyond baking cookies. This is really about tradition.
it exactly, exactly. You summed it up in one word. It's about tradition, and one of the most important things, in my opinion, in our families is tradition because most of what we know before 200 years ago, if not sooner, many of us don't even have a clue.
Yeah.
And that's based on how we got here. But that doesn't mean we can't start a family history and trace ourselves back to the beginning of our time in America. But it's important to the future of our families to be able to do those things. I'm very very big on family,
Hmm.
um, all families. So this thought is not just about me. It's about getting people to understand the importance of just sitting down with their elders while they're still here
Hmm.
and talk to them. Just talk. Just ask them to write down recipes. I had my wife. She's converted all of the recipes here into a book for
Hmm.
just our daughter
Hmm.
that she could take with her and pass it along
To
to
her
the
daughter.
have, yes,
Yeah.
and right. And so when, not to go off on a tangent, but
No, that's cool.
when we talk about generational wealth, this is just my feeling. Generational wealth is a community. It's
Mm.
not it's not necessarily just one person. We've had many conversations about the devastation of Black Wall Street, but we do have to remember that there were quite a few Black Wall Streets across America
Hmm.
that was somehow decimated by either the powers that be or just complete and utter jealousy. And we can now do that because we have so many pluses
Hmm.
as far as business is concerned. One of the biggest pluses we have is exactly this thing that we're talking on is our computers.
Hmm.
Information that we would have the hardest time getting a hold of is right here at our
Our
fingertips
fingertips. Yeah.
each and every day that we can easily start creating wealth for our families no matter what happened. I still think like many people that yeah, things have happened, things that have happened, and we've learned from those things that have happened. But me getting my product in Walmart is absolutely not about me. It's not about me. It's about everyone else and what they taste and what they see and how that inspires them to go, okay, this man got into Walmart. I need to learn what he did. I need to follow these steps. And
Hmm.
I am more than eager to talk about what
Hmm.
that took, good, bad, or indifferent. It's important that these recipe. That's a recipe. What I
Mhm.
learned, good, bad, or indifferent, is a recipe for somebody else's success.
Yeah,
And I have different things that I believe in, as far as success is concerned. And I just want us all to be able to aspire to that level
mhm.
of output, because all it's going to do is help each other in the future, depending on what we do with it.
Absolutely. How
Depending on
exciting?
what we do with
Mhm. How exciting was it to get those cookies in Walmart? That's
it.
got to
Okay,
be something.
so just to let you know, the preparation before we got there
Mhm.
was a process.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Fortunately, I now have a partner who understands a lot of the inner workings and process that it takes to get into these big box stores.
Mhm.
There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of detail involved,
Mhm.
and I'm glad that he had the ability to get us through that while we were still, honing in on what exactly we were going to give to them, because
Mhm.
we have 18 flavors. So it was all about figuring out what was the best flavors to give them, to get in, to send to them before the meeting. Because anyone that is trying to get into Walmart, anyone, you only have 30 minutes of a meeting. They give you 30 minutes to do your pitch.
Uh huh.
If they like your pitch, then you go to the next level, and then to the next level. And then they'll make a decision amongst others, along with the buyers that you first sent your product to. And then they'll let you know if you're in or not.
Sounds like it's worse,
So
worse than American Idol. What?
there's
It's a lot. Yeah.
a lot of anxiety involved, because you
Mhm.
just got to be patient and wait for them to give you an answer.
Right.
So luckily, all of the pieces fell in place because the team that I work with is amazing,
Hmm.
and they gave us 789 stores.
Wow.
So, and then Kroger just signed us on, and we're just waiting to get the stores from them.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Do you
Yeah,
think with the success of the brand and the cookies, could it ever take you away from your passion for music?
never,
Okay, gotcha.
never.
Just checking.
That's been a question
Hmm.
that I've been asked quite a few times of late, even from my boss, Nile Rodgers.
Oh
One
yeah.
of the things that he says is, it seems like you really blowing up there. So should I be looking for another drummer? And I said, absolutely not.
Right.
You
Right.
know, um, One thing about music, and this is something we all know, is that whether you're playing or whether you're listening, there is a communication uh, value that is infectious, and it's something that you never want to be away from. You know performers, and they all say the same thing. When I'm in front of an audience is when I'm the most comfortable. You've heard them say it. It's like there's this thing that takes over when you're a performer, that you
Hmm.
just it's the total giving of yourself to
Hmm.
people that makes you just want to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's also the response that you get back. So it's what happens is there's this revolving energy, and then this synergy that starts to happen between the audience and the band and the audience, and it just kind of, becomes this very huge and infectious blend of emotions
Hmm.
that you never want to be away from.
Hmm.
It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, I could never not be a musician.
Wow.
I never. But
Wow.
yeah, whether I'm performing or producing or doing a session, I gotta play it somewhere. I gotta sing somewhere. It's just part of me
Part of
for
who
a
you
long
are.
time.
Yep. Let's talk about that long time. It's been 3 decades, correct?
Actually, I started my professional career in 1978, 79. I
So we're going
was
on
I
4 decade, four, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was 19 when I went out on the road.
Wow.
19 years old.
Who did you go out on the road with first?
Oh, the first, you know, there's a guy in my building named Wade Taylor. You know, everyone knows him as Puggy.
Okay,
Puggy was
I was
also
going
a
to say
drummer.
Puggy. Uh,
Everybody knows Puggy. Puggy was not only a drummer, but he was a heck of a singer.
mm-hmm,
And I had just gotten my drum set because I didn't have my own kit. I used to play everybody else's, and I would practice every day. And
mm-hmm.
I only had a certain amount of time to practice because my mother was the president of the Tenants Association. So I
Uh-oh.
knew at a certain time she was like, "All right,
Cut it
cut it
off.
off,
Yeah.
go." And he heard me playing one day, and I stopped, and he called me out the window, and he said, "Hey man, you sounded real good up on them drums, man." He said, "Listen, I need to talk to you because there's an audition happening for this group that I'm in called Musique, and they got a hit song called Push Push in the Bush."
Bush. Yes. Yeah.
And the drummer left. Actually, a friend of mine, Tyrone, went to another band.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Would you like to come down to the audition?" And I told him, "Yeah, I want to come to the audition, but you got to ask my mother because
Mm-hmm.
I just can't walk out the door. She's gonna let me go if she says it's okay." But because it was Wade, she let me go. And I got down to the audition, and they liked what they heard, and I got the gig.
That's
So
awesome.
it was my first time um, on a professional gig. It was my
Mm-hmm.
first time traveling out of the country, which was Mexico. It was my first time with a passport, first time flying, just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of firsts,
Wow.
And then it ups and downs, ins and outs of the music business when you first start. And then I started to get a lot of gigs, and people, please understand this is before social media. So people were passing my name around because they had seen me or heard me on a gig, and they
Mm-hmm.
would call and say, if you need a drummer. And also I taught myself how to read music. So if it was a gig that needed quick results, they would just give me
Mm-hmm.
a chart, and I would just read the chart, and we would, make it happen. So it's been a good ride.
That's amazing. That ride, now that we say 4 decades, how have you been able to sustain, last throughout these decades? Because I mean, you know the music business, it can be pretty rough on us, whether it's finance, whether it's drugs, whether it's partying, whether it's women. It's just a lot because of the business. But man, I'm looking at you. You look as fresh out of the box. You got the cookie company. Your photo shoots. You're doing amazing things, and I was really excited to do this interview today after knowing some of the people you at work with. And I said, I bet you he knows Raymond. He would have to know Raymond if he's
Yeah, yeah,
worked
yeah.
around with as many people that I saw that you'd worked around with. How?
Raymond was such a sweet guy. He
Oh
was
my
very
God!
low key,
Yeah,
very always. I remember him always being very soft spoken and extremely kind
yeah,
and super talented.
super
Super
talented.
talented.
Those
I
fingers,
mean,
yeah. What
a
he
lot
would
of
do
people
to
don't
Lennon
know.
Brothers would just be just.
Yeah.
Never heard his style of playing. It was just beautiful, really beautiful.
Well, for people that don't know who we're talking about, Raymond Jones was the catalyst to the climb and the superstar status of Jeffrey Osborne.
Osborne, yep,
Yeah, he wrote many of Jeffrey Osborne's early hits,
yep.
and then sad to say he passed away at a very young age.
Young age, yep, yep, yep. I was fortunate enough in Los Angeles. He and Norma had just released State of Art, and I had picked this up. I was a musician myself. Had moved out to LA and was working, and I picked it up. And one day I saw him, and I literally freaked out because I'm going. I just bought your album. I think you're incredible. You're a great musician. You, Norma Sheet, the whole gang. I know all of you. This guy immediately just took me under his wings and just started working with me, put me on with some of the best people, taught me so much. I mean, and not only was he a great musician, he was a really great when it came to technology, information technology. He would sit down and talk about stuff, and I'm going, you know, that just no. And today, some of the very things that he talked about, I go, damn it, Raymond said that, 15 years ago. I remember one of the things
Yeah.
he said we'd be walking around with cell phones and we won't have home phones. And I thought, no one's going to give up their home phone, Raymond. You got to have it. And most of us, a huge percentage of us, we're walking around with cell phones, not home phones. The cell phone is our home phone, you know, for a lot of
It's
us.
so funny. Home phone number, but no phone.
Right. Right, 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 right. What are you most proud of?
My daughter,
Oh,
my daughter. She is the light of my entire existence.
uh-huh.
She's a great kid. She's now off to university at Howard University.
Oh, great.
She's in the nursing program,
Uh-huh.
and many of the teaching attributes that I learned from some incredible people, I've taught to her. And just being very attentive to her needs as a father,
Hmm.
and trying to nurture her is, I think, personally, my biggest accomplishment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, music. Is there? And we've talked about, of course, Soul Snack Cookies. Is there anything brewing with you with music? New album, new single, anything that?
Um, I just produced two groups in Europe.
Okay.
One is in London, and the other one is in Northern Italy.
Uh huh.
The group in London is called Axner, and it's a song that I produced for them called "Got the Look."
Okay.
Um, the group in Northern Italy is a group called So Much,
Uh huh.
and I produced five songs, and they just dropped the second single just the other day. It's a song called "Glitter in My Pocket," which is a fun going out, getting back out into life, kind of a COVID coming out song is what
Uh
I
huh.
call it.
Uh huh.
It's called "Glitter in My Pockets." It's a fun song. The lyrics just talk about going out and enjoying yourself with your friends and having a good time again.
Oh, that's
So the song is getting a good response. I think they're going to be okay. This is their first release, so they're doing their best. But I'm working on some other things as far as an app that I'm working on for
okay.
charities for
Okay.
musicians, which is a big deal. That's going to be very good for writers,
Okay.
that they can actually do things with charities. So I'm working on that now.
Oh, that's great, man. That's
Yeah,
great.
but I'm still so much immersed in the music business, and
Hmm.
obviously, it's been in my blood my whole life. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
just trying to take care of my musical family, because I know, and that COVID
Oh man.
hit you know hit us hard,
Hard.
hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks out there who lost everything as
Yeah.
musicians because of COVID, you
Yeah.
know, and,
It,
and
it,
because,
and I will say it hit us as brown people harder than
yeah,
anyone. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, you're absolutely
It's just fact.
spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. We really
Yeah,
did.
you're spot on about that. So the idea, I can't really talk about. I'll talk about it, once we get off. But
Absolutely.
it's being developed, and I think it's an amazing um, idea for every 501(c)(3) charity and every
Wonderful.
single writer out here.
Oh, that's wonderful, man. Are you on social media like IG and all of
Yes,
that?
yes,
How can
you
people
you
follow you?
you can easily find me. All you have to do is put in @Soul Snacks,
All
and you'll
right.
find me.
Okay. That's great.
If you want to email me, you can email me at cookies@soulsnacks.com.
Wonderful.
The website is
'Cause
soulsnacks.com.
I was going to say, if people want to order the cookies, they can order them. Obviously, they can go into Walmart, but if they like ordering online, they can order them online, right?
You can order them online, and what you're getting is our classic line when you order online. That's our home baked classic line.
Oh, so if you order online, you're kind of you're in a different
Yeah,
line. You're in a little upper echelon.
yes.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
because the cookies that we have for Walmart, there's all type of procedures and protocols. So we had to
Right.
come up with, our cookies are soft, and we had to come up with a crunchy cookie for Walmart.
Okay.
But it tastes just as good. I can
Okay.
tell you that. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Any last words before we leave? Anything else that you're doing or that you would might
Um,
want to talk about?
no, mostly just promoting the cookies now. About to
Mhm.
head out on the road again. we're looking at different markets as far as the product is concerned.
Uh huh.
But as far as your audience is concerned, what I'd like to say is that, you know, just spend time with your family. It's been a rough ride through COVID. Get out of your own way. Don't be your own obstacle. We have enough stuff to deal with out in this
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you plan on achieving, don't let someone talk you out of greatness.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone do that to you.
I love that. I love that. That's great. Man, we could go on. I could tell Angelos, book me this guy once a week.
I will come home with you once a week,
Book
brother.
this guy once a week. We're gonna do a show together. Ralph, it was great talking to you, man. It's just a very familiar space to talk with you. Easy to talk to. So much rich history when I'm listening to you talk and tell your stories. And I'm a great listener. I love to hear stories, especially about musicians and things back in the day because things are I've been able to transition from one, 70s. I've the 70s music, 80s, 90s to early 2000s up to now, up to right now, and I've seen the change. I've heard it. You just, you the whole business of music and how
Right,
it has all changed. You were just saying something a moment ago about how you had to give out your number and all of this stuff when there wasn't social media. And I just wonder if kids are even aware of how hard people had to work back then to stay relevant. If you were in Atlanta, you had to work harder to let people know who you were in New York and in Chicago or here. And it was word of mouth. It was a telephone or a page or a text. It wasn't right in front of your face like it is
right,
right now. You didn't have
right,
an IG account where you could get on and play your bass, for the world to hear. You couldn't. They had to
right,
come. They had to come and see you, or you had to go
right,
to a
right,
town. But now it's at the beck of everyone's hand. So
right,
things have really
right.
changed.
Yes, I agree. You play bass?
No, don't put no. I hold one, but I don't play no. No, I'm a singer songwriter.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, nice,
yeah,
nice.
and
Very cool.
that's why I was. It was when I worked with Raymond. I wrote on his first. He had an album, Acts of Love. I wrote on his first album. Him and wrote a song with Will. Are you familiar with Will Wheaton?
Of course.
Oh, I wrote a song with Will Wheaton sang one of my songs. I sang one. Did about 3 songs on that album.
Nice,
Yeah, it was a
nice. Good for
great.
you, man.
Oh,
Good
it's a
for you.
great time. Great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, great time. But man, it's great talking to you tonight. Excellent
You
talking
too,
to
man.
you tonight. And everybody, please go out and get Soul Snack cookies. They're in Walmart. But if you want the real deal, you want to go and you want to order them from the website. We'll put the website on the page. This is Ralph right here with Soul Snacks, and this is Mike Lee with the Mike Lee Show, sponsored by the one and only Jamie Foster Brown with Sister to Sister Magazine. Tune in every week. Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels, our apps, and our Facebook and YouTube page. Thank you all very much, and have a good night.